Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative, and today we're going to do something a little special. I'm not going to be that's a lie. I am going to be showing you something, but I'm not actually going to be doing any type of artwork today. Today I want to focus in on you and your creativity. I had perhaps mentioned in one of my very first videos, I had been at an event back in 2019, I think it was, and I had someone come up to my table, and as they were looking at what I had out, they said to me, I could never do what you're doing. And at that moment, I was new to being out and doing events, and I didn't have a reply for them. Today, I have a reply. Actually, I've had a reply for a few years now, back in 2020 when I came and designed Being Intentionally Creative, the course I have. I didn't know how to respond, which was really unfortunate for the individual who said to me, I could never do what you're doing. Because creativity in and of itself is so expansive, but there are a lot of people who don't know that. And if you're watching this video and you happen to be one of those people who go, I'm not creative, I do not fall into one of the categories of who a creative is, today I am going to blow your mind and show you all the magical, and I mean magical places that creativity lives. It's not for a select few. It really isn't. And as soon as you realize where it lives, it opens up the sky to you. It gives you so many opportunities to look at places you haven't looked before. And that's one of the best things I have gotten when I've done my event, is the people coming back and going, wow, I did not realize the creativity lived in all these magical places. Part of what this channel is about is sharing with you what I have come up with and allowing you to see things that perhaps because of society, perhaps because of your own beliefs, you haven't seen your wonderful, wonderful world of creativity. You can take this information and do what you want with it. You can, take it all in. You can take none of it in. You can take some of it in, or you can massage what I share with you from this perspective. Because maybe for you it isn't. Maybe you are just one of these individuals who just thinks, I just love cruising YouTube. I love watching other people do things. I'm not interested, which is totally cool. But you may know someone who could, truly have their world opened up for them if they got to see this video. This is an important video because it shares with you what is so important from a creative standpoint. So let's get started. I have this magical box. I love this box because it blows creativity wide open. We are all creative. I don't care who you are creative in one way or another. It's just you have gotten caught up in where the creativity lives. And as you read what is on the outside of this box, you will know what I mean. Are we going to get this? No, we're not. As I have issues with the box. Is there anything? No, there's nothing on the bottom of this box. Just had to check. Anyway, most people think that these are the type of creatives in the world. And if you don't fall into one of these categories, you aren't creative. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, because what is inside this box matters, and it matters a whole lot. So let's get started with what's inside this magical box. And as my logo says, it's what's inside the box that matters, and I want you to keep that in mind. I decided to put together this little box so that you could see all the various places the creativity lives. And I really don't care if someone were to come up and say, well, that's basic creativity. That's not true creativity. And I would be willing to argue that point with them, because whenever you go into doing something, you're being creative. Remember that. Whatever you're doing technically has a creative spin to it. So here are some basic ways people are creative. So coloring, very much creative, right? You're picking out colors, you're picking out your coloring book that you want to color from. Maybe you're just doodling on a page and coloring. You are being creative. Next, writing. But doing it in style. And what are you using to do your writing in? So calligraphy, paper, pens, markers, what are you using? You're being creative. It's not just, you're not just picking up a basic pencil. And even that's creative. You know what? I'm going to take that back. That is creative. How are you doing your writing? What's your font look like? You're being creative. Cooking and baking. Now, this kind of makes sense, but do we really look at ourselves if we're in our kitchen on a daily basis, cooking and baking and thinking, wow, you know what? I'm being creative here. When I worked in the corporate world, I used to make all my food in advance because I was also living with my mom at the time and then just coming home on the weekends. You think about how creative you get when you put your meals together. You know, what are you putting in? How are you cutting things up? Like there's just so many things that come to cooking and baking that are creative. Look at the television shows that are out there and look at who is judging these things. The creativity that's got to go into what you're making, you're being creative. And I'm going to say that a lot. Okay, next, gardening. I love to garden. I'm not the greatest at it. But do you stop and think about the creativity that goes into gardening? So I have a few people in my family that are very much into gardening and they green thumb all the way. My dad had one. Yeah, mine's kind of working. I'm mid-range green. But how do you put your garden together? What colors are you pulling together? How are you laying out the design? And I mean, I get it. You may just throw them in the ground and wait for them to grow. Fair enough. But you're still being creative because you're picking out what you want. You're picking out the colors you want. And even if you're not designing, you're still being creative by what you're doing. It just is. Next. Oh, we're back to coloring. Fun. Okay, so let's go on to the next level. So next we have card making. Have you seen the cards people are making these days? It blows my mind. I think I've got a bit of a handle on that one with some of the stuff I come up with, but it's insane what people are coming up with. So card making, you're being creative. The color of the paper. Again, are you using a font? Are you decorating it with different colors? Like, what are you doing? You are being creative. Okay. Room reorganizing or rearrangement. You don't think you're being creative? You're deciding what's going where, what colors will work best in your room. If you're painting, you're picking out a color, you're being creative. My rooms have two colors in them. I do one wall, one color, then a different color, then back to the first color, and then the other one's the same as the second color. But how are you arranging it? You don't think you're being creative when you're rearranging your room? Ooh, that would look good over there. Oh, and this would look good sitting on that table. Think about it. You're being creative in what you're doing. And that's the whole point of being intentionally creative is don't get stuck in thinking it's just a select group because it's not. So room rearrangement. If you're moving into a new house, you're going to be creative in how you lay it out. Just saying. Okay, woodworking. Again, I've some of the things I've seen people do, and I have tools to do really basic woodworking, and I'm being creative doing it. If I need to come up with something in order to do some of my artwork, I'm being creative in what I'm coming up with. Woodworking. There's amazing videos on what people are doing with wood, and they got to be creative. They got to figure out how they're going to do it, what wood they're going to use, what stain they're going to use, what paint they're going to use, what embellishments they're going to use, what hinge work and type things. I'm not a woodworker, can you tell? But I'm saying it's creative in nature. Next we have shakes and sundaes. Now, again, I'm going to start pushing the envelope here because it's important that you realize just how far creativity goes. So when you want a shake or a sundae, if you're making it, you're being creative. I want ice cream. I want soda. I want sprinkles. What kind of sprinkles do you want on it? Do you want lots? Do you want a specific color? Do you want a specific flavor? I mean, there's everything out there in the world today. All right, do you not think you're being creative as you're putting it together? Are you layering it? Are you spinning it up in a mixer when it's all said and done? What are you doing with it? You are being creative. So we're back to card making. Now, going on. So, this is just, I was being creative with how I was putting this together. Photography. Oh, I don't want you to see everything. You can't see everything. Photography. Very creative. I have a niece who is a professional photographer, and I am astounded by how she pulls things together. You have got to be creative if you're a photographer. I'll say that for sure, especially if you're doing weddings and brand shoots and that type of thing. You've got to be creative to pull that together. And even if you're not doing it and you're just doing it for fun because you love photography, think about it. You're just wanting to get the right shot in the right place. And do I want this in the background? Do I not want this in the background? What colors do I want in the background? Like, think about it. Think about all that goes into what you're doing, and you'll find out just how creative you are. Okay, clothing. Is that right way up? I think so. You get dressed every day. I don't even care if you just get up and put on, pajama bottoms and, a regular top. You're being creative. You're picking out your style, your colors that you like, the makeup you put on, what you do with your hair, whether you put any jewelry on. You're being creative. You're putting what your flavor is into your wardrobe. You go out shopping. Tell me you aren't sort of sizing up, oh, this would look good with this and this would look good with that. There was an episode of The Big Bang Theory where Sheldon was helping Penny out, and he kept pulling things out, and she was going, no, no, no. Oh, that's cute. Think about the creativity that's going into that. If you wear glasses. So I picked these glasses up specifically because of the design on them, because I like color. So there's a creative aspect in that. Creativity. Now, this last one has stumped most people that I've shown this to, and for good reason. Here you've got sheep in a field, and you got to wonder, what's that got to do with creativity? Well, let me tell you exactly what it has to do. So these sheep are, cutting grass, basically, and they will do a very good job of it. I live on 2 acres. I have 2 acres, basically, of grass to cut every summer. And I will tell you straight up, by about the 10th cutting that I've had to do, I'm getting bored. Do you think you can be creative cutting grass? I'll let you think about that for a second. Yeah, you can. Because I don't just go around the perimeter and keep going and going and going until I'm done. I do designs on my lawn. Why? Because I get bored. I'm out in the lawnmower for about an hour to an hour and a half every time. And you tell me that doesn't get boring? It seriously does. I do circles. I do triangles. I do basic lines back and forth. I will even, and it's a good thing I'm far enough away from the highway that's by me, and even if I'm not, there's probably some people, I do squiggly lines on my lawn because I'm bored. And do you know how cool it is? Because I can look out from my main floor and see this wonderful design that I've done. It's good for the lawn. It keeps me sane. And it's just fun. It's being creative. And if I had a postage stamp backyard that I had to cut, I could do the same thing. What does this mean? In the grand scheme of things, creativity lives absolutely everywhere. And if someone were to say to me today, I'm not creative, oh, we'd have a really good conversation about that. Because I could even just start with, look how you dress yourself, the colors you're picking out, the designs you're picking out. Whether you wear, military boots or high-heeled boots or, flip-flops, you're being creative in what you're picking out. I like using the cutting grass because I've had people think, you're nuts, she's nuts. How can cutting grass be creative? By the designs you put in it. As simple as that. What are you going to come up with today? How are you going to do it today? So I want you to think about that. This is going to be, I'm almost done my video. I want you to think about the ways you're creative. I also want you to keep in mind, no one, and I mean absolutely no one, knows just how creative you are but you. I don't live with you. I don't see you every day. I may not even be a part of your life except for this conversation we're having right now. You know what you're capable of. You know your creativity level. And if you've sort of held back because, one, you don't think you're creative, or two, you're not, one of these artists, musician, singer, dancer, choreographer, I don't care, whatever is in what they consider elite, you're creative. And don't let that stop you from tapping into that creativity. Well, I'm really excited now. I really hope when you look around your home now, when you go and do something, you go, wow, I am being creative. That's it for me today. That's all I got. I thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, and if nothing else, remember just how creative you are and go out and have fun with it. Start small. Think about it. Make notes. Have fun with it, because creativity will bring you joy. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye for now.